Welcome online race fans. It is Motormaster Monday here in the world of NASCAR racing. It's the NASCAR Motormaster Series hosted on NASCAR Heat 3 on the PlayStation 4 console. Driving the Xfinity cars on the NASCAR Heat 3 game, and we're going to be on our way here to Kentucky Speedway. The green wall's going to surround these drivers. It is the Horsepower 200 at Kentucky Speedway. Coming into the event, Jade Burr, driving the number 28 car, has the points lead with a pair of wins, and he's tallied up 14 playoff points. It's been a solid year for the 2018. Coming in second in the point standings, Keith Ayers, driving the number 16 Ford Mustang with a win and 12 playoff points tallied up for him. It's been a solid season for Keith, a top 5 machine, and he's just started to break out into the win column. Sitting in third in the point standings coming into tonight's race, Dakota Bro in the 00 Ford Mustang with a pair of wins and 13 playoff points tallied up. We're anticipating the invitation to the race, and when we get it, we will be going live at Kentucky Speedway on NASCAR Heat 3 for round 17 of the 2019 NASCAR Motormaster Series season, hosted right here on NASCAR Heat 3. It's going to be a blast. 23 drivers are on the track right now, posting qualifying times. As soon as they're done, we're going to be receiving the invitation and bringing you live action coverage. Head over to NOSSCAR.com/Motormaster Series to check out the 2019 race results and point standings, as well as the point system if you want to see exactly what these drivers are going through. Remember, it's the top 5 in the stages that receive points. These races are 50% distance, half distance races of real life NASCAR Xfinity Series races, divided into 3 stages with the top 5 receiving points in stage 1 and 2. And of course the stage winner receiving that oh so valuable playoff point. We are past the halfway mark of the 2019 NASCAR Motormaster Series season now. Last week at Daytona, it was Jade Burr in the number 28 car, the points leader, winning at Daytona International Speedway, sweeping both Daytona races here in 2019. And before that, the first race of the evening, last Monday, Dakota Bro in the 00 Ford Mustang picking up the win in the Go Bowling Ford. Had a strong run, came on late in the race, won stage 2, and picked up his second win of the season. That was at Chicagoland Speedway. Last week's 2 winners seated first and third in the point standings coming into tonight's 2 races, with Keith Ayers in between them in second. Jade Burr, Keith Ayers, Dakota Bro. They've been the 3 dominant cars thus far this season. Many fans pointing at Nick Don Francesco in the 98 with 3 wins, as well as Info in the 88 rather, with 1 win. Jason Armstrong will be missing tonight's races. It's going to hurt him a little bit in the points. He does have a substitute driver lined up for the NOSSCAR Truck Series, and a pretty good one at that. 24 cars, 24 drivers, all set to take the green flag. 100 laps divided into 3 stages at Kentucky Speedway. Here we go. It's the Horsepower 200 coming to you live on NASCAR Heat 3 on the NOSSCAR YouTube channel. And it's Anthony Trippi in the number 22 Ford Mustang on the pole. Comes into this race 4th in the point standings in that number 22 with 2 wins and 10 playoff points banked. He's been one to watch all season. These drivers seem to be sharing the wins pretty evenly. Nobody's really dominated so far. The green flag is in the air. These drivers are wrapped in the green walls here at Kentucky Speedway. It's the Horsepower 200. Let's see who's got the horsepower here today. Anthony sporting a bit of a different look this week in the 22. The yellow Menards Ford Mustang is on the racetrack, looking pretty good out front. He's got Dakota Bro right behind him in the 00. Those 2 drivers have battled for the lead before, and we lost Stephen Corley in the 5. He qualified 3rd. Got into the wall there a little bit and lost a few spots. Still in the top 10 and still in the hunt with these guys. Side by side for the lead here heading into turn 3. Dakota Bro with a strong run on the outside. The 2 Mustangs going at it, and the 2 Camaros going at it right behind them. That's a battle for 3rd. They're 3 wide behind them. That's just a little bit inside the top 10. Michael Birch in the 38, Stephen Corley in the 5, Keith Ayers in the 16. They figured it out, and maybe not. They bounced off each other a little bit. There might have been a connection issue. Dakota Bro in the 00 might be the one having the connection issue. He's up towards the outside wall. They can get it sorted back out. It might actually be Keith Ayers in the 16. Well, nevertheless, the top 5. Anthony Trippi, Info in the 88, Shadow in the 2, Nick Don Francesco in the 98. They bounced off each other there a moment ago. And it looks like it's Joshua Colm Diaz in the 90 running in 5th, having a solid run. Picked up his first career NOSSCAR Motormaster Series top 5 finish 2 weeks ago, and he's been on a roll ever since. And this is key for Joshua in the number 90 car. See if we can find him here. He's battling here with the 2 car of Shadow for the 4th position, but this is key for Colm Diaz, because if he can get a couple more good finishes, he'll confirm a spot in the playoffs based on points. A little bit of contact there. Kind of looked like Shadow came down into the 90 just a little bit. Keith Ayers in the 16, creeping up on this battle. There's the 90 machine, surges on with the 4th position, trying to run down the top 3. The battle for the lead is getting interesting. So it's Anthony in the 22, Info in the 88, and Nicholas in the 98. The top 3 separating themselves from the second group, the second 3 cars. The 22 came up a little bit into the left front of the 88, and that's usually a dangerous situation, but they sorted it out rather before they got to turn 1. Exiting turn 2, going down the back straightaway now. They've been side by side like this for over 2 laps, I would say. Trying to figure out who's going to lead this race. Info fighting hard on the outside and finding speed up there. He's going to lead this lap. See, the playoffs are coming up. So these drivers are trying to accumulate as many playoff points as they possibly can. They're starting to see the bigger picture as the playoffs approach, and they're hungry for those playoff points. Oh, and Don Francesco in the 98 gave a shot to the back bumper of the 22 of Anthony Trippi, and he takes the second position. They're catching lap traffic. That looks like Kenny Adair in the 36, I believe. It's a dark car, and I can't quite see a number. That's what I'm having difficulty with here. Lap down, and they gave plenty of room to the race leaders, and it's Dave Marks Jr. in the number 1 car, not too far in front of your leader. He's the next car to go, 1 lap down. Pardon me. You're watching round 17 of the 2019 NOSSCAR Motormaster Series season, hosted right here on NASCAR Heat 3. The PlayStation 4 console. For more information, head over to NOSSCAR.com/Motormaster Series, all one word. Guess you can't do it any other way. Info's out front. He's trying to run away from Don Francesco. He might have seen how Don Francesco took the second position, so he might not want any part of it. Who knows? Don Francesco, and he's going to have to deal with Anthony Trippi, and this is going to get interesting. Remember, there's the no retaliation rule, and it was more than likely an error in that sense. So here comes Anthony to the inside. He's got a push from Keith Ayers, and Keith actually working for his own benefit. He takes the outside line looking for second. No teaming up, no working together. These boys are having at it, trying to see who's going to chase down the race leader afterwards. Anthony Trippi surges out to second. He's in front of Don Francesco, and Keith Ayers trying to... He tucks down in front of Nick Don Francesco and in line with Anthony Trippi. Those two were drafting, it looked like, to begin with, and they might continue to do so. Coming up on another lap car, it's Michael Birch in the 38. Having a strong run in the NOSSCAR Truck Series last week, and not having the start to the NOSSCAR Motormaster Series race at Kentucky that he was hoping for. I spoke to Nick Don Francesco in the 98 car before the race began, and he said that he was very confident in his race car. He was ready to go. Thought he had good speed, and that was just before he went off to do some more testing. So the 98's ready to go, but clearly the others are as well. This is the front group that you're watching. Info has the lead. Anthony Trippi in second. Keith Ayres third. Nick Francesco in fourth, but he's trying to change that. He's got a run, and he's on the inside of Keith Ayres. Made that look easy going down the back straightaway. Clears them. Top four back single file. It's easy to overdrive these corners when you get the extra bit of speed from the draft as you enter the entry of the corner. A couple of cars going down pit road. Stephen Corley in the 5. Joshua Colm-Diaz in the 90. Keep an eye on your leaders and see when they make the move down pit road. Info, Keith Ayres, Nick Francesco, the top 3. Looks like the 88's going low. Oh, he still doesn't come down pit road. Might be a big gamble here. As you can see, Stephen Corley in the 5 has already come down pit road. He's gaining ground on your race leaders. They are definitely trying to save the fuel to get to the end of the stage. And they did it. And as you can see, Nick Francesco in the 98 ran out at the line and lost second place. Info gets the stage win. That was exciting to watch. Keith Ayres in second, Nick Francesco in third. If I'm not mistaken, I believe it was Shadow in fourth and Anthony Trippi in fifth. Now these drivers have an opportunity to make some adjustments and make some repairs to their cars. They have an opportunity to make a pit stop under caution speed. Very little ground lost and a whole lot to be gained if you make the right adjustments. Green flag in the air. Info leading them down into turn 1. He's got company though. Here comes the 36 of Nathan Scott. He's looking for third. We haven't talked about Nathan all race long. Very talented driver. Runs a part-time schedule. Looking for wins strictly. Very clean start to the beginning of stage 2. A lot of patience being shown. Got a lift when you come up on the car in front of you, and everybody needs to kind of realize that, and they are. Info leads the way. Keith Ayres in second, Shadow in third, Anthony Trippi in fourth, Nick Francesco in fifth, Nathan Scott in sixth, and Jade Burr in seventh. Curtis Fields in the 35, running in eighth, having a good run. Keith There's very familiar with leading laps here in the NOSSCAR Motormaster Series, and he's doing it again, but for how long? Here comes Shadow in the 2. That's how quick it happens in the blink of an eye at these big tracks where it's all about the draft. These drivers can hang you out to dry in a heartbeat. You can lose the lead, and in fact, Keith dropped outside of the top 3. Might lose more. Nathan Scott looks to the inside, and problems for Shadow in the 2. He goes up and hits the outside wall. He loses the lead, and he's going to drop to the tail of the top 10 in the 10th position. We have about an 11-car breakaway here, 10 in the main group and 1 trying to hold on to the draft. This is exciting stuff. Anthony Trippi back out front in the 22. Your pole sitter leads the way. And whenever he has the lead, he always seems to have Don Francesco right behind him. And I think that Anthony hit the apron and had to really check up, and the field stacked up. The accordion effect took place, and there's a big wreck. Jade Burr, Curtis Fields, Patrick Hazlitt, and more. Info in the 88 involved as well. Looks like Sean Lucas in the 8, BJ Thomas in the 99. And it was all sparked because of one error done by the race leader. It's so easy to hit the apron. No one had anywhere to go. The 18 of Jeffrey Robinson Jr. was involved. Trey Hollywood and Dustin Franklin. That was a big one. Battle for the lead is on. Nick DonFrancesco to the inside of Anthony Trippi, and he looks like he's going to clear him as they enter turn 3. Reset the field for you here. Nick DonFrancesco leads, Anthony Trippi in second, Shadow in third, and Nathan Scott in fourth. That's your top 4 that are all in your frame right now. The 98, the 22, the 2, and the 36. Shadow's going to lose third to Nathan Scott. Nathan showing good patience. Sticking with the draft, staying with the race leaders. See, the thing is here, the 98 is on his own team. The 22 is on his own team. Not necessarily one-car operations, but they just, what I mean by this is they have no teammates up there battling with them. But the 36 and the 2 are teammates at Timac Motorsports, running third and fourth. So might see some teamwork here. Late in the going in the stage, we don't think that anybody needs to make a pit stop before the end of stage 2. It is a shorter distance than stage 1. Contact was made between the teammates. Shadow, I guess, didn't know that he was still down there or not. I really don't know, but Nathan Scott lost a ton of ground there, and he might even lose the draft with the leaders. Nathan in the 36 goes back to the 4th position. is Nathan Scott, former NOSSCAR Dirt Touring Series champion, former race winner in the NOSSCAR Platinum Cup Series. He's got a win earlier this season here in 2019 for the NOSSCAR Motormaster Series. Looking to make it too. Remember, he's not eligible for the playoffs. There is a minimum regular season race attendance rule where you must participate in at least 15 races to be eligible for the playoffs. Whether you have a win or 2 wins or 8 wins, you need those 15 regular season races under your belt. Nathan Scott jumped into the car, jumped into the season a little too late, and he's not eligible. Tell you what he is eligible for, though, is a win here today at Kentucky Speedway. He's closed in on the race leaders. The top 4 look like are going to be back in their own group. Just joining us on YouTube, you're watching the battle for the race lead here in round 17 of the 2019 NOSSCAR Motormaster Series season, posted right here on NASCAR Heat 3 on the PlayStation 4 console. We're at Kentucky Speedway. Nick DonFrancesco in the 98 has the race lead. Anthony Trippi in the 22 just took second. Oh, excuse me. Forgive me, the 88 actually just went 1 lap down. Remember, he's fighting an ill-handling race car after suffering front-end damage from the big one that occurred just about, I think it was about 11 or 12 laps ago here in Stage 2. Working Stage 2, the top 5 receive points, and the stage winner receives a playoff point, so a lot up for grabs here. 24 drivers rather, entered the event, and we have 23 cars left on the racetrack. We've only had 1 major incident so far, and that was the big one at about the midway mark of Stage 2. Getting closer to the end of Stage 2. These drivers don't need to make any scheduled pit stops here for Stage 2. They're all chasing this man, Nick DonFrancesco. 3 wins this season. Seated 6th in the point standings, but he's got a nice playoff point total. He'll be seated well once the playoffs begin, and he'll be seated a little bit better, perhaps, with this stage win and playoff point. Give it up for Nick DonFrancesco. Anthony Trippi will grab 2nd, and I believe it was Shadow in 3rd. And Nathan Scott in 4th. I'll have to check the scoring here. $15 cars on the lead lap, but it's going to be Info in the 88 getting the free pass to be back on the lead lap, so we will have 16. Glad you're with us, folks. Here we go. The main event, the final stage at Kentucky Speedway. Green flag is in the air. Oh, and there was a wreck off the hop, and it looked like it was Dave Marks Jr. getting into somebody, and then someone else got a bump from Dave. We're green and we're going. Lean, mean, and green like the walls at Kentucky Speedway. And we got a big wreck on the back straightaway. Joshua Colm Diaz in the 90. Patrick Hazlitt in the 20. Info in the 88 and others. BJ Thomas in the 99. Man, that's a tough break. Stephen Corley in the 5 has damage as well. Keith Ayers in the 16 suffered damage. It is the second biggest incident of today's race. Back up front, Nick Don Francesco, Nathan Scott, Anthony Trippi, Dakota Bro, and Shadow, your top 5. Pillsbury in the 74. Trying to take the 6th position away from Jade Burr. There's 7 of them up here in the lead pack. Drivers in the top 7 up here have a win this season, except for Shadow in the number 2 car in 5th, Pillsbury in the 74 car in 7th. Nathan Scott looking to the inside for the lead. They just shuffled Dakota Bro. Now heading into turn 3. Speed can be found on the bottom or the top, and these drivers are really going all over and trying to find the line they want, trying to find some extra grip, and it's making it really exciting. We have a new race leader. These will be the first laps that he has led all race long. Nathan Scott in the 36 out front. On Stephen Corley in the 5. As you can see, he's got some heavy damage to the front end of that race machine, and he's going to go 1 lap down. Nathan Scott out front in the 36. We're going to take a short break from commentary. You're watching round 17 of the 2019 NOSSCAR Motormaster Series season at Kentucky Speedway. It is the Horsepower 200. We're glad you're with us. Don't go anywhere. Enjoy the action while the commentary stops for a moment. And I'll be back shortly. with live commentary. And for all of you Maple Leaf fans out there, it is 3-2 at the end of the second period, playoff action. I myself am Canadian and am a big fan. Wearing the jersey and hat right now. But I'm here watching the battle for the race lead. That's how exciting and committed to this I am. Nathan Scott in the 36 out front leading the way. Nick Don Francesco right behind him in second. Dakota Bro in third. They've been working together to get away from the rest of the drivers. A little bit of contact made there. Don Francesco looking for the lead. And he takes it. And Nathan Scott goes to pit road. Anthony Trippi in the 22 followed him. Bold move. There's Anthony on pit road. Dakota Bro looking for the lead, but there might be some discussion going on here. Don Francesco and the 98 might be coming to pit. They're both coming to pit road. 00 and the 98 surrendering the top spots. I believe it was Jade Bird that stayed on the racetrack, and he takes the race lead over for the time being. There's a whole lot of cars on pit road there. Stays on the track here. Anthony Trippi back off of pit road. So after the cycle of pit stops, Nathan Scott in the 36 is in the lead. Anthony Trippi in the 22 in second. Dakota Bro in the 00 in third. Nick Don Francesco in the 98 in fourth. That is your top four. So they're chasing this man. Chasing the 36 Can-Am Chevy Camaro driven by Nathan Scott. He's got a win this season. Looking for another. He's not playoff eligible, but he's definitely eligible for the race wins. It seems like everywhere he goes, he's a contender for the win. Looks no different here today. It's Keith Ayers in the 16 right behind him. I believe Keith Ayers is actually the first car one lap down, and Keith got into the back of the 36, and around went the 36 and into the wall. Off the track he goes. That had to have been a connection issue on the part of the 16. Wow. So Nathan Scott is out of the race after having arguably the fastest and strongest car on the racetrack. Started at the back, worked his way to the front. Started 22nd out of the 24 cars, and now Anthony Trippi is your race leader. Yeah, I'm thinking it was a connection issue from the 16, and I'm thinking that he surged ahead and hit the back of the 36 Camaro, but I really can't say for sure. We're gonna have to find out more about that. I think that Keith Ayers in the 16 lagged, and his car shot forward into the back of the 36 Camaro. But again, that's only speculation. I'm really not too sure. But we have a battle for the race lead here. Anthony Trippi in the 22 trying to hold off Dakota Bro. A gift has been given to them. They no longer need to run down Nathan Scott in the 36. Definitely not the way that they want to be leading this race and battling for the win, but it's hard to get a NOSSCAR Motormaster Series win, so they're giving it their all. Anthony Trippi in the 22 doing a great job, taking the line away that Dakota Bro wants. But now they've got company. Nick Francesco in the 98 has come to join the party. It's a 3-car battle for the lead. Keith Ayers, the first car lap down, kind of just lurking at a safe distance behind the front runners. We're in the final stage, round 17 of the 2019 NOSSCAR Motormaster Series season. You're watching Anthony Trippi in the 22 lead the way at Kentucky Speedway. The horsepower 200 is getting closer and closer to history here, to being in the history books. 25 laps to go. It's a 100 lap event divided into 3 stages. The top 5 getting stage points in stage 1 and 2, and the stage winners getting a playoff point. And this is where it gets interesting, folks. The 5 playoff points normally awarded to the race winner all season long. It's been split up even. Well, not quite even. 3 playoff points for the race winner. 1 playoff point for the drivers finishing in 2nd and 3rd at the end of the race. It gives these drivers incentive to not, it's not winner take all. It gives these drivers some incentive to take it easy and salvage 1 playoff point rather than risking it and perhaps taking both of these out. That point system started in 2018 and it's been running strong since. So now Anthony Trippi has begun to lose some ground to the front 2, and I'm not sure if this is because they're working together in front of him or if this is some sort of strategy move. Could he be conserving fuel? Not a bad recovery for Info. He's been involved in both of the major wrecks that took place in this race. We had a very clean race up until 2 major incidents really hindered a lot of drivers' chances at winning this race. Info has salvaged a top 10 run as long as he can bring it home in one piece with 23 laps to go at Kentucky Speedway. He's currently running in the 7th position, but he's got about 12 seconds until he finds Jade Burr running in 6th position. So at this point, unless anything else major happens, he's salvaged every spot and passed every car within reach. So he's done a good job. This is what the battle for the lead looks like. Anthony Trippi has lost the front 2, and it has come down to Nick Francesco and Dakota Bro. There is no point for leading the most laps, but if there was, I believe that it would either be going to Nick Francesco in the 98 or Anthony Trippi in the 22. Both those drivers have led a lot of laps here in the horsepower 200. Running 1st and 3rd, and as you can see, these leaders are coming up on a group of 4 cars that they're going to need to work their way around to put 1 lap down. race, and I spoke to Nick Francesco in the 98 earlier before the race began. He was very confident about his car for today's event at Kentucky Speedway. He won the NOSSCAR Platinum Cup Series race in 2018 at Kentucky Speedway here on NASCAR Heat 3, so he knows all about this track. And just as I begin saying all this nice stuff about him, here comes Dakota Bro, and he takes the lead on the inside. Heading into turn 3, he's going to use the lap machine of Joshua Colm-Diaz as a pick to keep the 98 behind him. Keep in mind, Joshua Colm-Diaz in the 90 at one point was a major player for the win here today. Was running inside the top 5 in stage 1 and just kind of, I don't know, lost some ground from there and got caught up in the major incident here in the final stage. So it's Dakota Bro, Nick Francesco, and Anthony Trippi, the top 3. These drivers are all going to have to pit one more time before the race is over. The question is, when do they do that? They only have 15 laps to go when they hit the start-finish line this time. Nick Francesco in the 98 on pit road. Anthony Trippi in the 22 on pit road. Dakota Bro stays on the racetrack for an extra lap. There he is. Let's see where he comes off pit road in comparison to those guys. There goes Don Francesco in the 98. There goes Anthony Trippi in the 22. Those are the cars that we're keeping our eye on the most. Just because that is the battle for the win. And as you can see, Don Francesco with a big gap on Anthony Trippi when they come off pit road. And we'll have to see where they come out. Or excuse me, where Dakota Bro, the 00, comes out of pit road. And in regards to where they are on the racetrack, there he goes. There he is, and here comes Nick Francesco in the 98. He's going to be right there with him in his draft. So we are going to have a battle for the win here at Kentucky Speedway. This is going to be good. 13 laps to go. Bro in the 00, 2 wins this season. Nick Francesco, 3 wins this season. Both drivers are teammates at Bro Motorsports. So you've got Don Francesco racing with his boss out there for the win at Kentucky Speedway. Oh, and contact was made there. A little bit of a shot from the 00. the most part, they have clear racetrack in front of them. It's Dave Marks Jr. in the number 1 Chevy Camaro just in front of them. He's the next car to go, 1 lap down. And after him, it's quite a distance until they catch any more lap traffic. If Dakota can muscle up a big momentum run and get to the inside before corner entry, he might be able to clear him on exit. Dave gives plenty of room to the 2 race leaders, realizes what's at stake, falls in behind, and they're side by side for the lead. Dakota Bro back out in front. And now the crossover move being applied by Don Francesco. Maybe not quite, he had to tuck back in line. So a new race leader, another lead change. The Dakota versus Nicholas show here at Kentucky. Should have named it that rather than the Horsepower 200. There's Anthony Trippi running in 3rd, the pole sitter. Top 5 car all race long. Perhaps the fastest car. Finds himself in 3rd, about 2 seconds behind the front runners. That's how quick it happens, folks. We looked away for maybe, 15 seconds there? One of you will have to confirm. And we have a new race leader again. Nick Don Francesco surges back to the inside line. Clears the 00. Another lead change and new leader. And we only have 6 laps to go. Quick update on a couple of other drivers. Shadow running in 5th position in that number 2 car. Info in the 88 running in 7th. Now 5 to go. Dakota's not letting him get away. He's got to stay close enough to keep that draft. Keep him within sight. Laps to go. Does Dakota have anything for Nick? We've seen him, well, I guess we know he does, but can he time it right and can he make it happen before the end of the race? Because sometimes if you wait too long, the run never comes. But you don't want to make it too soon either, because we saw Don Francesco perfectly execute the crossover move and take the lead back. So this is going to be all about timing and all about momentum. And here he goes, 2 to go, and Dakota Bro goes to the inside for the lead. He takes it from the 98. Now, does Don Francesco have enough time? They're coming back around to the white flag. He might have gave him a shot to the back bumper. Up the track goes Dakota Bro and into the outside wall, and they're coming to the white flag. Oh, man. If Dakota can get to his bumper, he might be in trouble. And Don Francesco protecting the bottom. Dakota not lifting. They're going through 3 and 4. Bumper to bumper. They're side by side. Contact. Who gets it? I think it was the 00. Oh my goodness. What did we just see? I think it was Dakota Bro that got it. I think the 00 beat him by like fractions of inches here. We're talking, people. But this is just a guess. We're going to have to check scoring. We're getting official word. Oh my goodness. The Dakota Bro and the 00 wins the horsepower 200. Somebody get a picture of the results. We need to see the interval between those two. That might be a new NOSSCAR Motormaster Series record for closest finish. Wow. What a finish. Probably the most exciting finish that we have seen all season long. And it's Dakota Bro that wins. When the smoke cleared, it was the 00 car doing the donuts. And then parking it in Victory Lane. We're going to get a post-race interview. We're going to head down to Victory Lane now. Ah, there we go. That's what I wanted. There we go. Guys, we made it to Victory Lane. Dakota Bro, we're standing here with you and you look as shocked as I am and out of breath as I am trying to get down here to you. What a finish. That had to have been the most exciting finish in NOSSCAR Motormaster Series history, and you walked away the victor. Tell us about your race and how it feels to win this one.
Man, that last stage was everything. Them last 5 laps, my heart was racing so goddamn hard I didn't know what to do. I did not know what to do. In Napa, I got Napa with 2 to go going into 3 and 4. And Napa gave me a shove into 3 real hard, and I kind of bounced it off the wall a little bit, but I got back in his draft enough to pull me back. And I think he lifted a little bit too much in 1 and 2 to keep his car under control, and I caught him enough in the draft, and when I went into 3, I remembered what he did the lap before. I just gave him enough. I didn't do it enough to put him in the wall, but gave him enough to scoot him up out of my line and got below him and drag raced him to the line. That right there, racing with my teammate, was everything. I got to thank Stephen Corley. He helped me out tremendously today. This 00 Ford, man, it was on a roll. We were quick all day.
3rd win of the season, more playoff points for you. You're moving on to the playoffs here. We know that. You're locked in and you're ready to go. You're one of the top-seeded drivers. How confident are you about your chances for winning the championship?
Man, that just put me a little bit closer. Honestly, man, I still don't know what to say. That was a blink of an eye finish. I can't say that enough. I also want to say sorry to BJ. There was a wreck on in stage 2, and I seen everybody scattering, and by the time BJ hit his brake, I was close to him and I accidentally gave him a bump and took him around, but I want to apologize for that. But other than that, man, we struggled the first stage, second stage, and the third stage we were just strong, and I hoped I could hold up there with Napa, and I held it out there. He's one of the best teammates you could have racing wise, and I wouldn't have it any other way. I mean, that's one of the greatest races I've had.
Did you know when you were going to make the move the entire time, or did you just make the move at that point because you saw the run that you had?
The last 5 laps, I was actually running second, and I tried to stay in his draft, which earlier in the stage, when we pulled away from Jade, I knew if I could push him enough, his car was handling just as well as mine was, and I could push him through the corners. And I pushed him out far enough I didn't have to worry about Jade through the pits and everything. I mean, not Jade, but Stranded through the pits and everything. And I knew it was going to come down to me and him, and that's what I wanted. I'd rather it be me and one other person than have to worry about two. And I pushed my teammate up there, and I wanted it to be fun, and that was fun. I hate to nudge him out like that because I know he wanted it, but at the end of the day, I got to look out for myself too. And all I can say is I'm really looking good to this playoff.
Yeah, you're on a roll, man. You won a race last week and you won one this week. Congratulations and good luck to you later tonight at New Hampshire.
Hey, thank you, buddy.
That was Dakota Bro, third win of the season. Looking strong, making his charge for a championship and doing it nicely in that 00 Ford Mustang. Gonna get a quick interview with your runner-up finisher, Nick Don Francesco. Oh, maybe not. We're going to get a quick word from your third place finisher. That would be Anthony Trippi in the 22. Joining me now in the NOSSCAR commentary booth, driver of the number 22 Ford Mustang, finishing third in the horsepower 200, Anthony Trippi. Thanks for joining us.
Thank you for having me.
You had an eventful race. You qualified on pole and you were running up in the top 5 all race long, really, and you had either the strongest car or one of. Tell us about your race.
I mean, great call they brought out. I mean, not much more I could ask for. Qualifying on the pole and knowing that we had speed was nice. I mean, we had some issues on pit road. We had some issues with lap traffic. I mean, but that's stuff you have to deal with. Kind of hoping they'd get on my way more, but you know they didn't on the final run. It is what it is, though.
We
Just gotta
saw.
deal with it.
Sorry, I apologize. We saw everybody really was venturing around the entire surface looking for extra grip. You could run the bottom and the top and find speed. Where was your car handling the best, and where were you able to complete passes best?
Well, in 1 and 2, you really want to have the bottom, but on the outside, you get a great one. So if you needed to, I knew I could go up there, and I knew I had some speed up there too. I mean, we used that in qualifying for at least a lap or two, and we were still running, 31.5s, 31.4s up there. So that was nice. Tone 3 and 4 is just a terrible tone in general. Nobody likes it. It's so hard to find grip over there. On the bottom you get tight. On the top you get loose with the seams. So there's really that 3 and 4 is just venturing. It's just do what you can and hope it works. It's something new every lap.
What went through your mind when you saw that the 36 car pulled off the track after an on-track incident and suddenly you had a shot for the win, or, well, even better shot at the win at that point?
I mean, honestly, I wasn't even thinking about that at the time. I was scared that's why I get involved in that because he hit that wall hard and came back down track, and I was like, uh-oh. Only place I have to go is the apron's slippery, so I didn't trust that at all. But I was like, yeah, this is a good spot for me now because I knew I had a fast car. Just lap traffic got in the way a little bit and held us up, let the 00 catch back up to us. So, I mean, besides for that, it was a pretty good race, pretty good call, everything.
Well, you snagged a playoff point out of the deal, finishing third at the end of the race. Good job, and good luck to you at New Hampshire Motor Speedway.
Thank you.
That was Anthony Trippi, driver of the number 22 Ford Mustang. Having a solid season, has a win, and he's seeded very well with playoff points when it comes to championship season. Motormaster Monday continues later tonight at about 9:45 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. The live broadcast will begin. We will see you then for the NOSSCAR Motormaster Series race at New Hampshire Motor Speedway right here on NASCAR Heat 3, live broadcasted on the NOSSCAR YouTube channel. So subscribe and we'll see you in about 25 minutes.